What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time once again for Comics Unmasked, the podcast where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are live for our second live stream. Last week, if you didn't catch episode 35, that was accidental live stream. But this is the official first live stream, but technically the second one. We are going to be doing the show live on Sundays, and then it'll be uploaded on Tuesdays for folks who missed the live show. You will be able to view the full, chopped up and edited without the pre-show cut over on the Comics Unmasked YouTube, but then the main full cut will be on my YouTube. That way it's separate for folks who want that distinction. Or if you want the cut up version, it'll be on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Audible, all those places. Make sure you rate us and review us on Spotify and Apple. That way it boosts us in the algorithm. We want to be the comic journalism source that you can trust, where we will review books, we will talk about books, we want to make sure that you are informed about the industry. That way you get real opinions, you get real topics about things. And yes, we will dive in. We will probably be doing just straight history episodes sometimes, especially when during slow weeks. We will be diving into the industry, talking with different people. And I'm not dropping the official next week announcement until Tuesday or Wednesday after we record. All that done and over with. All right, cool. My name is JP. To my left, I don't know, right above me, the camera's weird for Riverside this week. We have the man who works 47 jobs. Brother don't get no sleep. Man is Afro Baggins himself. Mr. B-Rax, how you doing?
I own 2 cloaks, more comic books than I can count, and I'm spending more money than I can make on comics. So, I think I'm winning. I'm doing good, though. Right. Life has been good. I can't complain. It's been a long, busy week because we're cleaning the house and getting it ready for inspection because we live in an apartment. So that's been fun.
Nice. All right. And then we have the woman whose Kickstarter we will be featuring in the show notes. Make sure that y'all get this going. Miss Midnight Comics herself. We got Tashi in the building. How you doing?
I am tired and I'm not ready to go to the airport at 6 a.m.
Ooh, no.
Because I hate getting up in the morning. But other than that, I, much like B, be spending more money than I have on comic books because I just got a little bit of money and it's gone already.
That's valid. I must say, I went to Fan Expo yesterday up in Cleveland, and I spent more money than I planned on, but I spent money that I was willing to blow because it was for a good cause. I made some connections with Concrete Comics. I was able to get some of their trades for Deja Vu. They're going to be sending me some more stuff that we can do giveaways and whatnot. I will be doing something super official. Is it over here? Yeah. I will be giving away soon on my TikToks and whatnot a John Boy Myers official variant cover for Absolute Green Lantern #1. This thing is a banger. So make sure you look out for that in the coming weeks. I needed to get this because it was my favorite variant. I have the #1 already. But it's just so good. I love John Boy's work so much because it's half anime, half just awesomeness at the same time, like Western awesomeness. And he has this way of drawing, just it's how I feel about people like Dan Mora or Jorge Jimenez, where they draw every nationality in such a great, distinctive way, where it just feels like they actually care. And I enjoy that about their artwork. So I had to get that covered. I got 2 for myself. I got 1 to give away. So that's going to be dope. But let's go ahead and dive into it. There wasn't a whole lot of news this week, but there was a couple of nuggets that dropped on us. And the big one that had the internet talking is that Aaron Pierre has already been announced to be being included in the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, as Jon Stewart. And this is the one thing I hate about news and whatnot. It's almost the same thing in the same vein as solicitations, where we already know what's up before it's even come out. Obviously they weren't gonna kill Jon Stewart in the TV show, but it's we already know dude's not gonna have too crazy stakes. We already know he's gonna be featured, so it's that's interesting. We already know what's up. And I will say a lot of millennial fans are already like, ooh, does that mean we'll get a Shira and John romance? And I'm like, I don't know if I want that. Like, I don't know if I need that right now. Like,
We're not ready.
mainly because we can't even get a Superman movie. It keeps just feeling like Justice League light. It don't even just be a Superman movie. Like, am I wrong for feeling like that?
No, I think that's respectable.
No. I just don't think I don't think they're ready for all that yet because they're still trying to establish a lot all at
Yes.
once.
I feel like that's the big thing is right now they're trying to play catch up, and that's the biggest issue that I always have with DC is that they're constantly trying to play catch up in their movie industry when like if they kind of just gave me my Batgirl movie and if they gave me my Blue Beetle movie and they would have just released all of those movies that I was supposed to get, I would have loved to seen Firefly. Like that would have been so cool, the behind the scenes shots I was getting, but no.
Right.
Like if they gave us that, then like I would feel like the criticisms for like the Superman movie would be a little bit less for you at that point because then it's like, okay, you've set up this world for us. We've seen Superman multiple times. Give us like Justice League light. But at this point, it's like, no, I need to see my solo Batman. I want to see how you guys are going to set this world up before I actually give you faith on playing with these characters because I'm going to be very worried Jon Stewart's just going to come in and like, I'm not too worried about it because James Gunn seems okay, but I'm still going to be watching with a keen eye kind of thing because like if you're going to create a really good character in this TV show, I want to see that continuation on into the movie. And if I don't get that and it feels like it's almost a different Jon Stewart, then I don't want you to be throwing multiverse in me in year 1 or year 2 of your movie franchise.
Oh Lord, no! Please don't do that.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Like, I think the biggest issue with this entire situation is that, like you kind of said, we're playing catch up, and I think this is still a symptom of the new 52ification that we're dealing with this version of the DCU, where James Gunn came in and was like, all right, cool. So like, this is canon, and then if we don't reference anything else, nothing else is canon. And I'm just like, I, like it feels like the new 52 where they were like, okay, cool, Batman's canon and the Robins are canon and the Green Lantern stuff is canon, but everything else is not canon. And I'm just like, can we stop playing that game? Can we like, did you need to do that? And it's just this feels like a symptom of that. We're having to hit the accelerator button because we're noticing that Doomsday is coming for Avengers, and it's like you gotta have to like start small, guy. You gotta need to like work this up because like, when are we gonna get just a Superman and ensemble cast? Why does it have to be Superman and the Justice Gang or JLI, whatever the heck this is gonna be? Because it's like we can't even enjoy what we have, and you're telling me we have to like involve everybody. Like, I'm not saying I want to like multiple movie series of Jimmy Olsen's antics with Clark Kent, but like, can I get like 5 minutes with my podcast that isn't just like rushed? That's all I'm asking.
They keep making the mistake. Oh, right, we had one hit. Now we can do everything else. It's like, no, you got to build over some time.
The issue that I have too is to where like we get a lot of that good stuff in the animated series for the DC universe, and like why can they not translate that onto the big screen? Because I like going through the Superman adventures in my head, and there's still some really good Superman memorable moments in that I'm like, this feels so easy to just transfer over with like Lois Lane when it comes down to just his relationship with Jimmy and everything like that. I don't know why we have to pull in, like, I love Mr. Terrific. I really do. He was absolutely the like show of that movie. But why does Mr. Terrific have to be the show of the Superman movie? You know, I would have preferred to have a Mr. Terrific movie at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Cap Lives even said in the chat where he's like, I think Superman felt more like Superman the Animated Series season 3, where they were having more heroes in the show. It's like, yeah, you're jumping the gun, pun intended, where it's like you're having to go above and beyond just to keep people interested. It's like, it's okay to start small. It's okay to like do a little bit less, because like maybe this is just a symptom of me like growing up with Smallville, where I'm used to us not grinding 24/7 with everybody else. But it's like I kind of was expecting a little bit more to the ground. That's just where my head was at. But we'll see what happens. I still am cautiously optimistic about the Lanterns TV show. There was even a rumor that the Funko Pops leaked, and the whole suit was like a poop green color because like it was like the green off the brown suit, and I'm like, no, please God, no, please don't let that be real. I can't handle it. It just but I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Like I said, I was like, I'm gonna watch. Well, I mean, we're gonna get more of him now, but I was like, I'm gonna watch it to make sure that we keep John along the way. And they're not like, well, they didn't watch Green Lantern, so they're not interested in John Stewart, so we're not gonna give more of him.
See, isn't that so frustrating? Like that was one thing I was talking about a few weeks ago on the comic book kickback, where like they were trying to say that like, oh well, we shouldn't support different comic books if we don't like them. It's like, no, you don't understand. We're in a dire situation where if we as like marginalized fans, if we are people who are not the cishet white market, if we don't show up for the little representation we get, unless it's a hate crime, like a literal borderline hate crime, if we don't pull up, they're of the impression that we don't care about it, that we don't value it, that it's not worth it. They're not going to read the Rotten Tomatoes reviews and say, oh, this is like they just are hypercritical of it. They don't want more of it. They're gonna say, "Oh, you straight up don't want more black people shit," and that's the concern. I don't understand why they have this mentality. They can't think critically for some reason, but all they care about is the dollar for some reason.
I mean, we're talking about the same ones that don't actually promote stuff that is good, so that we still don't go see it. So either way, they just flip it on its head.
Yeah.
Wonder Man. I'm just saying, I'm still trying to shout to everybody in my state about this, and nobody's seen it because we don't get no advertisement in here. I hate it. That was such a good TV show, and I have so many people around me sleeping on it. And I'm like, trust me, just watch the first 2 episodes. You'll want to binge watch the rest.
You know what's so funny about that? Someone even tried to say on Twitter that they were promoting Wonder Man too much now that it was a hit. And I'm like, really?
A lot.
Right. Like, I haven't seen a whole lot for that.
Especially since the hype died down. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. I haven't seen like hardly anything. So, but hopefully this ends up leading to more where we can be featured up like with more stuff. But from there, we had the awesome news that we officially have been like, we already knew that the Dakota incident was getting a second print. We already knew that we had got enough to where it was allegedly it made enough to get the second print. But we do have the information from the Comic Hub sales charts where like dollar wise it reached the top 50 books sold of the month, which is awesome. But we found out that we are getting a beautiful, and I mean motherfucking beautiful, variant cover from the GOAT himself, Dan Mora, where he has drawn Virgil Hawkins to look phenomenal. And I'm gonna see if I can put this on screen because, like, oh my god, Dan Mora. And it was, I think it was Ernie Blur Without Fear that said it best, where he was like, that tells me that Dan Mora straight up stopped what he was doing and said, "I got time, I got time." Okay. It's like that. There's that scene from The Incredibles where he's like, "I got time. We can make it work. Like we can pull up for that." And I happen to think that was the greatest thing they could have possibly done for us, because when you look at this cover and you see how good it looks, it is so great. And it's not even worth hiding for, Red. Like, Red, I see you in chat, where it's like, this cover just looks so good. So good. Like,
I think he was responding to the comic collector. He said, "Where's Rich from Bleeding Cool?"
Man,
he was like,
man. I don't know, man. I just like I think this like, and I have always said that like I was saying earlier, Dan Mora is one of those artists that does so well with capturing black like the character so well. One thing that comes to mind is that thing from the TMNT comics where randomly the turtles were made into humans and they were made into black teenagers, and he drew them so distinctly.
Oh, wow.
Like this speaks to me perfectly in that way. So, like, I find this to be so well, and like just based off the hair, this tells me this is supposed to be like Virgil just hopped up after that final page, and I'm like, oh, we pulling up. So It definitely has me excited. B, you had the honor of me dropping this to you while you were live on stream. How was you feeling?
I was jumping for joy as a Static fan. He's in my top 5. I put him on my Mount Rushmore when it comes to influential like comic characters for me. And this like just the background alone, seeing how the light is being like absorbed into him there, and then you see the static coming from his hands. It's perfect. It's perfect. It gives me that iconic feeling of Static, and then it like gives me hope for the future. I feel like this is one of those things to where like you're going to have this in your collection, and one of the like 50 years down the road when we actually get our Static movie, we'll be like, "Oh, we can pull this out and this is what they're referencing for the whatever scene shot that they're doing in this one scene." You know, like this is going to be one of those things that moves into the future as just the most iconic thing you'll see from Static for a while.
Yeah, so good. Tasha, how are you feeling? Because you've been so busy. When did you see this thing?
When Ernie posted it. I be, I be on social media like a lot. Not gonna lie, a lot of my posts on social media are scheduled.
Oh, okay. So you just be hiding in the shadows.
But I'd be on there scrolling for like I give myself like 10 minutes at a time, a couple times a day. So I be there in between the busyness when there's a lull. But no, I fell in love immediately. The colors really popped to me. I love a good set of colors that pop, especially in a foreground against a background where the colors are not faded per se, but it's like it's darker in the back because the lighting is a little darker from, like B said, where it's more absorbing into him, and he's got all the color. Also, the angle is just so good to see his angle against the buildings in the background. It warms my heart to see.
Very much so. And like I have been very much a proponent of not buying second prints. I'm not a big second, third, fourth print guy, but this is one of them times where like I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that right quick because this was just sexy. Like
the Dakota incident made me break my rule. I used to have a rule of you buy one comic book. I don't care if it's a variant cover or whatever. I'm there for the story. That's the reason why I bought it. I go out and I buy 5 issues, and then I buy 3 more, and then now I have another one sitting on my shelf, and now I'm about to buy 3 more of this cover. This Dakota incident's gonna make me go broke.
No, if I'm going to something and I see like 3 covers that I like and I can get them, I'm getting them because they look good.
And you know what's funny is the day before, this wasn't even like the best. Like I will even say, I love Dan Moore to death. This wasn't even the best cover we got this week because we were also shown via the fact that Felix Comic Art, it's a website that a bunch of different artists in the industry use for their sketches, for different prints they do. They are going to be giving away a special like copy of Superman Spider-Man with art by Sanford Green. And oh my God, there were people that sent this to me like right when it dropped, like they were tagging me and DMing me. I thought this was fake because the way they were all stacked up on top of each other and the fact that like Hobie is so much bigger than the rest of them, I thought this was fake. Like someone had like collaged this together off of other things. So I'm over here at work sitting between calls going, I need to find this version of Steel. I need to find this Hobie print. I gotta find it and prove that it's false because like, don't get me wrong. I will always say Sanford Green does not miss. Sanford Green is my favorite artist of all time next to Dennis Cowan. And I swear up and down all the time that this man does not miss. I said it to be the day it dropped. Sanford Green does not miss. And here's what really irks me. And this kind of goes in the same thing with how I felt when Sanford Green did all the work for the Mass Appeal Legend Has It comic book. Why on God's green earth, when we are in such a deficit of lack of like equity or even just black representation in comic books, period, is this not a open to order cover? Now, don't get me wrong. Sanford Green has a really cool cover that is just public that you can get. I don't know if it's on his Twitter because he don't really post on Twitter anymore. But like, there's like a really good cover that he did for just like the basic version of Batman Spider-Man, well, not Spider-Man, a Superman Spider-Man, where like it has Peter in the middle with a giant web coming out and like all these different characters like mixed in. It's like the other cover he did is great, but I'm not gonna lie, this definitely is some gas right here. Like this is like every black nerd's dream on a page, and you're telling me this isn't like equally accessible to the whole like public? What?
No, come spend your money over here. Get it.
And you know the speculators are gonna eat this alive. You know the speculators are gonna eat this alive, and it makes me so mad because like I genuinely would drop multiple dollars on multiple copies of this thing. You have no idea, and they're like, nah. You don't need that. You have to fight and scramble to get this off of a website, and I'm a little salty. I'm a little salty. Like, don't get me wrong. Do I really like this cover that Sanford Green did? Yes. This is a really good cover. This is a really damn good cover. But I'm not going to lie when I say that I'm a little sad that we're not getting the other one. I'm just saying. And like even chat's like, why can't we pre-order this? Huh?
As I talk about colors again, the colors on the other one just absolutely.
They're amazing. They're so like I feel like they're just leaving money on the table for being like, oh, we're just gonna make this issue right here the specialty. You maybe will get it if you're quick enough going to a completely different website and if you know about it, versus you make this the B cover for people. And you see that on the like Comic Geek app and everything. People are going to immediately go to that B cover. You're going to at least get 13% of the population there. Like, come on, people. I think we're 14 now. Sorry, my bad.
Something like that. But genuinely, like it's the fact, and like you can even read it from chat where they're like, I buy so much Sanford Green that my shop just started pulling aside all of his covers, or like y'all think it's gonna be limited to a certain number. Oh, I can tell you for sure that like this is gonna be some like Nintendo Switch 2 day of release type ish where you gotta be like at the crack of dawn ready from that button hits on Felix's website where you gotta be ready. Because like if you don't have your dollars ready to go, when like they even say on the website where it's like on the post where it's like subscribe to our newsletter for drop details coming in April, be ready because it's like that's gonna sell out real quick. Them speculators ain't gonna play. I'm salty. Like I'll even admit, like just the way Virgil's like disc that he's sitting on here, he's standing on, that made me even think too that this was fake. Or like the fact that like the way they're all stationed, it just felt like different drawings that were popped on top of each other. But damn if it don't look good. Like, oh man.
I need this as a poster on my wall. I need
print.
Right? Like I need this on my phone. I need this on a t-shirt. Like this needs to be everywhere. Like he doesn't miss. I can't add anything for like anything on it. It's just perfect. This is the perfect form of art I would love to see on my comic stand. Everywhere. Any comic stand.
Like people just don't understand. Like this is why I be telling people that Sanford Green is like my favorite artist of all time. Because like dude just don't miss. Dude does not miss. Like even when you look on his Twitter, like for Bitterroot, his Bitterroot art don't miss. Like, oh man, like y'all just like people don't be understanding.
I got the big old volume for Bitterroot.
Look at this thing he did for Outcast. The man don't miss. I be telling people, it just like he did this for Spider-Verse, and I even use this as like I use this as like my my thumbnail for the video that I did about the AI art thing. Like this tells you right here, this AI can't do this. The AI could never touch this.
AI look the same. It's weird when people can't tell it's AI for me because I'm like, you can't see that.
Right.
I don't think you.
And it was funny too because like somebody else even tried to tell me, oh, how did you figure out that trailer that you looked at was AI? I'm like, really? So, like even the cyborg homage he did, the man don't miss. Look at that. It looks so good. And it just, I don't understand how like people like think what y'all think the price point gonna be. It's probably gonna be like $20 average. Like when you pull up the Felix Art website, it's probably gonna be $20.
But good luck getting to it fast enough.
Right, like that's gonna have to be like some insta click type shit. Like you have to be like ready to go for that click. Like even look at this Magneto he did. What the hell? I be trying to tell people, man. Like it just, I don't know. Like the folks who are watching the audio version, if you go to Spotify, you'll be able to see us like scrolling through this on Spotify and YouTube. So definitely look at that. But we'll go ahead and jump back into the discussion now that we are back. So let's go ahead and dig into the nonsense here. So the final issue of Crownsville finally dropped this past week. Rodney Barnes and Elia Bonetti have been going ham. I have been trying to yell from the rooftops for so long that David F. Walker, much like Sanford Green, don't miss when they're together. But Rodney Barnes does not miss when it comes to horror. Rodney Barnes, doesn't matter what artist he worked with, you could give Rodney Barnes stick figures and he can make them scary. Like, man literally just takes paper and pen and gives you scary. I was listening to his podcast, Run Fool. On my, it's so good. So good. Y'all don't understand, man. Like, there was a story about like these goblins that attack a cabin.
Oh, did I hear that one? It's been a minute. I need to catch up because I think it's over now.
Yeah, it's over now, but apparently it's coming back in a different form. But I've been slowly going through it, so like that way I can be ready for when it jumps back off. But it's just like genuinely, I'm saying like BJ said in chat, I have that Cyborg cover remarked by you. Have a remarked by Sanford. Oh my god, oh my god. But you know, let's go ahead.
How much do I need to pay to get that? I work a lot of jobs here.
BJ don't give shit up. That's the man's right there. He don't give that up.
You know.
But you know, I just
about Rodney, because why his horror hits so hard is most of it is inspired by things he's either experienced or read about, and I love horror and honestly stories in general so much that take real life things and make fictional stories, and he does not mess with that.
And even with this, his grandmother apparently worked at Crownsville from what he was talking about. So the fact that he took this real inspiration, he knew about the things that had gone on there, and he just like put a whole super dark Tuskegee air level vibe to it and just made it even crazier. And I'll keep it a buck. I remember reading the first 2 issues and just thinking it was going to be just some ghosts. It's going to be some ghosts. Like I've seen him do vampires and whatnot. We just was some ghost stuff. Like ghosts going to start hanging people. No big deal. Then we go, nope.
Yeah.
Zombies. And I'm like, oh no.
Not just zombies, children zombies.
Little black children zombies.
Yep. The way he had them coming out of the ground too, like the art on this, like there's this thing called like bleeding off the page. I felt like the art was bleeding from the page. Like it really felt like I was watching stuff like come from the past through this, like everything here. It was
like these motherfuckers took out the National Guard.
Yeah.
They took out the National Guard. They got hit with bullets, got back up and healed because they also Wolverine level shit. And they said, nah, man, we about to pull up on you. And they ate the National Guard. How crazy is that? These motherfuckers ate the National Guard.
It's crazy because it's even this page is one of the rarities where there's actually gutters in between the panels. Most of them, like the other pages you show, there is no gutters. Everything is just flowing together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. To where it's just very rare you see very
stacked
few
on top of each other.
Exactly.
In a great way. Like, look at the way they express that. It's just like, it doesn't feel like anything you've ever read before. And what frustrates me about this is that, like, people don't know this book was going on. It was through Oni Press. People don't be paying attention to Oni Press a lot. And it's like, if I didn't have, like, my league set up to, like, alert me when Rodney put something out, or if I wouldn't follow Rodney on socials, I wouldn't have known. And that makes me mad because this book goes so hard. I need Oni Press to step up their PR, man, because and like I want to say shout out to old girl from the third issue that continued on through the rest of the issue. She was so done with this white man shit. She was so done. She
But can we
straight
be
up was just
real?
like,
That was a real black woman. Because I was with her. I was like, ma'am, I am with you 100%. If I had your job, honestly, I wouldn't even still be there at this point. So you're also a trooper. Because I'm not going in there.
she
I'm
said,
not.
"I
I
wanna
love
find out
like
what's
it was
going
the
on."
second or first issue when she was like, y'all can go in there. I ain't dealing with that.
She said, you
What do
didn't
you
want to
mean
come help?
we? What do you
You
mean
didn't want to
I'm
come help
going
us?
with you?
She said, come help you. Sir, I told you. I'm not going in there.
She said, I don't get paid enough for that. Like, she is not dealing with that. And it was so funny. And I love how she reads this white man for filth when he's like, oh, I feel so remorseful. I had to carry the guilt all these years. And she's like, oh, well, boo, goddamn who? I'm like, yes, girl.
Yes.
Read him for filth because this white man experimented on these black children. I was so mad. And like, I've heard that story before in like different things like Lovecraft Country and stuff like that, where like white people try to justify their actions for the greater good. And there's even a part in this issue where the fourth issue where they like show, oh, they were stuck on two fronts. They had the Soviets on one side and Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement on the other side. And I'm like, that's some cop out white people shit if I've ever heard it.
Oh no, the black people are protesting. What are we ever gonna do? You guys should have been focusing on the Soviets and letting us farm. We would have been okay. Let us grow our stuff. We would have been just fine. But no.
I think it was the fourth issue. Let me pull this up. Yeah, because like just the way they were like, oh well, we were so worried about those darn black people. The black people were gonna do so wrong by us, and the Soviets were a problem too. And I'm like, bruh.
And it's crazy because I just recently finally read Vindication, which I have been trying to get to forever. And so I was already pissed reading that, like in a good way. Like the story was good, so I'm pissed at the characters. And so came into this and immediately was like, oh my God. And got pissed at the characters in this. That's a sign that you know it's a good story.
Oh, for sure.
I'm pissed at these characters being racist or stupid or just whatever it is. Just so it's like, all right, let me chill. Let me somebody come over here and get this white man.
And it's so funny too, because like they do the most like white man Illuminati shit too, where they go, oh, well, we're just gonna go sweep this under the rug and have the scary government people come in and just spray this toxin on the little black children to melt them away. And I'm like, that sounds like some real life shit. That feels like some real life government cover up shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn, man. And it almost, I almost don't want to say it ends like, what's the word I'm looking for? It almost feels like a not satisfying ending, but then you sit there and you go, that's the point.
But that's the whole point, is because like when you're talking about the government coming in, it gave me the New York Central Park feeling, to where we used to have our community in New York Central Park, and then all of a sudden now there's just a park here. Nobody knows about it, and then the only time it ever gets talked about is maybe like every other Black History Month when someone's got to bring up, did you know there was a black community here and they excavated them out and told them to get somewhere else? You know, like it feels just like that.
But it's to make a park for the community, so you guys have somewhere to be and to go. No, it's to get rid of us.
And it's so wild too, because like I'll even go back to the fourth issue real quick, because like or Neon Ichiban's gonna take a crap on me, one of the two. But like I was like, I love the fourth issue where there's the government stooge dude who's like, look man, I would have loved to uncover this nonsense with you. I would have loved to like help you reveal all this, but like, because I was one of those kids who almost got snatched up by the feds and taken to Crownsville. But that there's some things that you just can't mess with, because the greater good and like the government's like way of unjustifying national security is more important than your survival sometimes. And I just kind of sat there like, if that ain't the most bullshit thing you could have said, but I know it's the truth of how people be. Like, it felt so real and so like on the nose that I'm just like, God damn it. Like This is exactly like, you know, it reminds me of the first Transformers movie with Michael Bay, where like the white people are just busting in the room and making shit happen. But if it was a bunch of black folks trying to warn them about Transformers, then it got snatched up. Told it was a cover up, it wouldn't happen. I'm just kind of sitting here like, this feels so on the nose, so realistic, and I'm mad about it.
But that's what makes him such a great writer, and I was so happy to like, this is one of the first things I've been able to like fully sit down and read of his, which just gets me more excited for Philadelphia, because I'm like, this gotta, everything's just gotta be so much better. I see it, trust me, I'm gonna be getting one ordered here pretty soon.
Brother, when I tell you, and like, this is for chat, this is for the people who are listening, if you ever read Philadelphia, I tell this to every newer comic book fan, like especially like any black like comic book fan that picks up Philadelphia for the first time. If you don't finish the first issue and hear your own father at the end of that book, you ain't black enough. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. When you read that last panel and you're just like, damn, Ronnie, how you gonna do me like that? Like, you feel it in your bones where you're just like, you really do me like that? You really dig into my soul like that? And like just hit me in the gut with that? Like, you're just like, damn it. It feels so good, but you're so mad about it, where you're just like, damn it, why you do that? It's the same thing with this book, where there's so much authenticity about that. And it brings up the like how there was this dude who was in like the live stream that me and Ernie and Kaori and Diesel did the week, where he was trying to justify the idea that white people are allowed to write black stories. And it's like that, like some white people can write black stories sometimes, but not all of them can do it right. Not all of them can do it like fluently to where it matters. And there's something better about a black person writing a black experience, to where I will die on this hill, and you can come fight me on it. No white person could have wrote this book. No white person could have wrote Crownsville.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You could have maybe gotten something that like represents it, but like you couldn't get anything that I feel like actually reaches down into the soul like this did. Because there were times I was looking through this and I'm like, I feel like I'm connected to my history that I didn't even get to really learn about, you know, that I'm always trying to uncover in past history books, because I decided to go to the library this week instead of pick up comics. And I'm like, God damn, now I gotta deep dive into this week, you know? Like, there were so many instances of like, even the nurses trying to figure out what they are doing back then and how they're grappling with that, and then how they come to terms with that in their elderly age and all of that stuff. Because I've been hearing stories of how my grandpa had to live with his grandma after slavery, and like, that shit sucked. I'm glad I didn't have to live back then, but we still got to push even further now, because we don't want children coming back up from the grave. That's just basically what it is. Trust me, that shit is dark.
That part. Now, if a white person had written this, let's be honest, it would have been a lot more white saviory. The guy would have definitely been justified somehow, or somehow vindicated of his crimes. He definitely wouldn't have gotten arrested at the end. Like, he would have been the one to really, truly save the day. There wouldn't have been that nice bit of just heart in it. It was just like, oh man, that hit as a black person. It'd have been like, oh yeah, another white savior story. Okay.
Yeah, man, and I can even tell you, I just pulled up this page where, like, at the beginning of issue 4, where like they do this whole opening monologue from the white dude who's in the wheelchair later on, where he's like this whole opening thing back in 1973, where he's trying to justify what he did. It was for the greater good. They're trying to like do, like, he feels like he's trying to just like create these ultimate little super soldiers that will survive anything they can send off into battle. And you can tell for a fact just what you just said. This entire 2-3 page, this is 2 pages. Oh, 3 pages. This whole 3 pages would have been a whole issue. It would have been a whole issue of trying to justify the white man's bullshit. It would have been a lot of that same vibe of them trying to justify this nonsense. Like, it would be very similar to like God Loves Man Kills from X-Men, where they try to really harken on that vibe of like, no, we're justified in our actions. It's because God wants us to, or something like that. We're like, oh, it's the government's need to survive, or something like that. It would be very much that same
dealing with. You don't understand what we deal with.
And it just like I remember reading what was it like issue 2 or 3 where they show like the little like the white man coming to the black neighborhood being like, hey, I got some candy for you kids. You just gotta go get the back
Mm-hmm.
of the van. I was like, this is some fucked up shit. I was like,
But it's real.
oh
And that's the
man.
crazy part.
Because that's the crazy thing is they'll talk about like all of the stuff when it comes to kids going missing and everything, but like when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, you never really want to talk about it when it starts affecting a big, urban community or something like that. But as soon as it hits your neighborhood, then it becomes this big thing. Then we get to see it on the TVs, and then we get to see it on milk cartons and everything like that. But where was it before when you guys were doing the testing on us and all of that other jazz?
Let's be real, even still, most black missing children and adults, we hear nothing. Absolutely nothing. Until we
Yeah.
start making a fuss about it. Then it's like, oh yeah, da da da, real quick. But it's up to us to do it.
Yeah, and a great way to even think about that too is that like what do we even see in like older black biography movies or even like older black stories where you were straight up told not to say no to the white man. You were
Mm-hmm.
told to listen to the white man because that way you don't get in trouble. And that idea, if like the white man come into the neighborhood, you're told to listen to your elders. You're told to listen to them. So they might have felt like it was in their best interest to listen to this white man and get in the back of the van. And then
Mm-hmm.
even in issue 5, they like or like the dude talks about how even at the end when they became zombies, all they wanted to do was go home. They wanted to go home to mom and
Yep.
dad. And that's the craziest part about it.
Mm-hmm. And think about that. Even the kid who didn't listen was like, I'm not getting in that van. He said,
Mm,
oh well, I guess I just have to resort to a different method with you. Chloroform
mm,
in face. Regardless,
yeah.
these white men are dangerous.
Yeah, and it's crazy too. And like do said in chat, Akabam said in chat that like mass kidnappings were real, cannibalism of black people was real. Like
Mm-hmm.
Rodney, that's your next story. Talk about the cannibalism of black folks. That's what I want to see next on my desk. I want to see.
Yes, please. Okay.
Like I don't care if it's
That would
Image,
go so
I don't care if it's
hard.
Dark
I
Horse.
would
I
I
need it on
would
my
buy
desk.
2 copies of that up. I will buy everything of that up just so that way people will know that this needs to sell and get into movie form. Cause like that infuriates me the most. That is what infuriates me the most about history is that was something that I still have to fight with people that I went to school with today. And they're like, they didn't teach us about that in school. Yeah, of course they wouldn't teach you that in school. That's part of the, what is it? The DEI that they want to push out.
That's that critical race theory that they don't that's dangerous for the white man.
Exactly.
Don't worry about that. That's gonna make white kids feel bad, B. Don't you know about that? That'll make the white kids feel bad about what happened. That's why we can't tell them about their history. That's what it is. Like, do you see how stupid this sounds when you actually try to process it? The idea that like this is real and it took an amazing writer like Rodney Barnes to walk in the room and be like, look at it. It's like
Look
that
at it.
meme from like the Boondocks where Uncle Ruckus is like, read, nigga, read. Like he's walking in
Mm-hmm.
going, this is the truth. You need to understand, and you're gonna read it. And like we're all sitting here like freaking like sick meter going, no, it can't be real. It's like, no, it's real. It's real. Like that's that real ish that we didn't want to hear about. And I even love the kid the military dude in this issue where he was like, nah, I didn't go. I ran. I hid. And I lost all my friends. And I'm like, damn, that's some fucked up shit. And it makes you wonder what could have been if that would have
Mm-hmm.
continued. So like I will definitely say that this is already an early contender for the CU Awards Best Indie Title of the Year. Like we are going like we like did small nominations at the end, like small little like favorites of the year last year, but we will be having custom awards made, like even if it's just certificates made that where we're gonna email them to writers and artists and whatnot. Like you smile, but like no, I feel as
I
if
know. I love it.
we want to stand on business and show that we are different from the rest of the industry, we need to show that we can like put real backing behind things. And like how cool
Mm-hmm.
would it be if someone like Rodney could be like, I got a CU award. I got a Comics Unmasked award, like for actually being a real writer, for being a real artist. That could have backing down the road.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's important, is to put that like stamp on that motherfucker.
I feel like more
And
of us need to have awards. So I'm right there.
Amen to that. And for everybody who missed this and isn't able to jump onto it, I believe it is July 7th is when this is supposed to come out in trade paperback form. So you can pick up everything and read it all at once and all that fun jazz.
I think Midtown still has like Crownsville single issues. If you like really want to get into this and like have the single issues, I might even buy a couple like single issues to give away. Like I might even like look. We're gonna try to get Ronnie on the show here soon. That way we can chat with him. So definitely keep an eye on that because we like definitely want to give back to the community, especially if we're gonna start doing more live streams. We definitely want to make sure we do right by the community in that aspect. So definitely keep an eye on that. We are going to go ahead and jump in. If you are not in the Comics Unmasked Discord, make sure that you start being a part of the Discord. Like, it's super easy. Just go to discord.comicsunmasked.com. That way you can join that, start being a part of the conversations every day. I know people like Ian and whatnot, like they're constantly in there chatting with folks. I try to poke my head from time to time. B has been going off in there from time to time recently. He's been just chatting with folks. So like he's definitely, I was like, I just saw Tashi in there a couple times.
Trying to.
I'm terrible with Discord.
I'm getting a little bit better every day. I'm figuring some things out. I sent a giant emoji in somehow, and I was like, oh God, I think I scared a couple people off now.
So we're going to go ahead and jump into the listener questions. We dropped these today. That way people could get their thoughts on it. So, thoughts on where Milestone-owned characters could turn up in other ongoing DC titles if they feel it would be a good way to raise awareness of them. That was from me over in the Discord. I think that we could easily see Augustus Freeman, attorney at law, coming through some Bruce Wayne shit at some point, or when Mr. Terrific gets called at some point, so does Curtis Metcalf for something or other like that. They like once we start cracking open that jar and once Static starts to be back on the scene at some point, I could really see the idea of Hardware just being in the background or like having conversations where he finally pulls up. I would just love like maybe like this is my controversial take that like I know a lot of people aren't going to be really happy with. I feel as if a Hardware book should come before a Static book, despite I'm never going to get that. But at some point, there should be a Hardware book as a mainstay in the DC universe because Hardware was the first. Hardware was the first. He was the last. He was the one that got the most single issues out of the entire bunch. He was supposed to be their Batman, their Iron Man-esque figure of their universe, but then more people got attached to the Spider-Man-esque version of their universe because of the TV show. Like Hardware was supposed to be that guy, and he has been kind of just left to the background, and it still pisses me off to this day. But it's like, I know with a little bit more in the tank, we will see Curtis get his shine. And I feel like I would love just a Hardware Mr. Terrific team-up book. Just give me Black Excellence in STEM, the book. That's all I want. And like you can even bring Technique in for all I care. Like just give me just all the Black Excellence. Here's what you do. This is what you do right here. Terrific, Curtis, Technique, John and Natasha Irons, the book. Just give me that. It's just Black Excellence, like in STEM, the book, and I would read it in a heartbeat. That's what I want right there. Y'all's thoughts on that question?
I would actually absolutely love that book. But no,
Right?
you know, I have to agree on your controversial, I guess, take. Because I said this to y'all the last time I was here, is that I grew up a Static and a Rocket fan. And of course, to get Rocket, you got to read Icon. I did not grow up a Hardware fan. I didn't read Hardware. I didn't care really about Hardware until I did finally read it. And I said, I've been missing out. Because the way this series is so good is ridiculous. It's better than stuff that's dropping now. Especially them like first 10 issues. Better than stuff dropping right now. And it makes no sense to have slept on him so long. And I'm mad at myself.
They straight up give you a version of Punisher who ends up being found out to be like the one who should be punished, despite him having his own trauma as to why he does what he does.
Right.
And you're like, that is some And what cracks me up too is when you really think about it. They got in trouble in the Static book by showing the condoms on the front cover and whatnot. Yeah. But then you read Hardware like 6 or 7, no pun intended. Like you read those few issues with like what's his damn name? I forget his fucking name. But like you read those issues and you read about this character and you're like, huh, that's really interesting. How Death Wish. You read about Death Wish and how dude is a trauma victim because he was assaulted, but because of that assault, he blacks out and assaults others. But then when he regains consciousness, he then wants to hunt down the person who is doing the assaulting and the unaliving. And you have to like unpack that.
All of that.
And you're like, how is that not what caused the controversy? When like granted, the covers weren't that bad for, it was actually 5 and 6 for those Death Wish issues, but like when the covers weren't like so graphic, but when you read the inside of it, you're like, the Comics Code got published with that? How did DC let the Comics Code label go on that? That's what I want to understand. Yeah, man.
Throw in my 2 cents on this question. I kind of just want to see almost a ground level Justice League with everybody. And more or less kind of like with Mr. Terrific, I'd like to see Icon, I'd like to see Hardware, because like I'm catching up on these issues through the compendium and I'm losing sleep. I'm trying to sleep 8 hours a day. I'm trying to go to work. I'm trying to post on TikTok, and reading this compendium is going to send me crazy because it's all so good. And like his build for the character, I could see such a wonderful base being set up for like ground level Justice League stuff that he'd be able to do. You get Jon Stewart in there, so you get your DC representation. So I'm not just making it all milestone characters and Mr. Terrific. And they could go so hard. And that's the other thing that goes into our DCU conversation. If they keep this more on like ground level activity, get us going on like, stuff that happens on with the government stuff. We don't need world calamity events and everything that's going on. Let's just see how the intricacies of the city works. It's gonna be so good, because I had to jump through like, oh my gosh, the Shadow Cabinet stuff that was happening, like issue 0 on that one because of the trade back for Static, and I was like, I'm now so lost, I need to read back into this, but it's so good because there's a man with razor blades cutting some dude up that just swirling around the dude. What the hell's going on here? This is amazing stuff. Like, better than anything I've been getting in the past few years, like she was saying. Like, she was 100% on that. This stuff is good.
Gold.
And that's what even kind of frustrates me when some people are like, oh, we need a absolute Static, or we need an absolute Icon and Rocket, or absolute Hardware to like reinvigorate these characters. Here's the thing that no one's going to want to hear. I'm going to keep it a band with you real quick. The original Milestone was absolute. The original Milestone did not sugarcoat shit. The original Milestone gave you everything that you could possibly imagine right there, black and white, clear as crystal, on some Willy Wonka-ish, where that was dark, that was intriguing. You had drugs in your face. You had like assault, like I was just talking about, in your face. You had like crazy, like backdoor dealings with Edwin Alva. Like, there was so much going on. You had teen pregnancy. Like, you had all this stuff going on. And that's why I'm kind of afraid to see when these characters finally come to the main DCU. I'm worried they're going to get sanitized. I'm worried they're going to get sanitized. They're not going to be like their actual characters. Because as much as I want a Stephanie Williams Blood Syndicate book, I feel like that woman's going to have editorial breathing down her neck.
She gonna put it in there.
You like, right on that. Because because even just what I was referencing about the dude who ended up razor blading the guy who could regenerate his body, this dude brought his body back from pure, oh my gosh, razor blade. His skin was taken off. I don't know how to describe that more than this dude's skin was taken off. I don't think I'm going to be able to see that in a mainline DC book, and they'd be like, all right, this is for you guys.
Or
Congratulations.
just Holocaust nuking people. Like, you really think they're gonna let Holocaust just start like dropping like whole ass firebombs on people? That there's gonna be a limit to how much they're gonna allow there. And like Blood Syndicate might have to be a Black Label book. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Like, it might have to be a Black Label book just to get that off the ground. And like maybe Hardware and Icon and Rocket and Static can like ride mainline, but Blood Syndicate will have to be on some Black Label ish if we're gonna get authentic Blood Syndicate. I hate to say it. Next thing we got going on in the chat for the Discord. What's the most underrated currently published comic series in your eyes? Ooh, that's a good question.
If we're counting ongoings, then I'm going to have to go with like the Ultimate X-Men, because I don't see a lot of people talking about that. Very few people around me. I know, but I mean, like, it's still so good. They got one more issue, don't they? Or don't they got like a 28 coming out, or did that one already come out?
I don't remember, honestly.
I could be missing on that one, but my biggest vote goes for the Batman and Static. That one's my biggest, like, I feel like people need to be hyping that one up more. I absolutely love it. I want to go back and reread it. The covers that Nicholas Draper Ivy's been doing are just fantastic, and I just found his, like, Static season 1 that he did. That's about to become my favorite cover Friday. Just, I can gloat about that all day, every day. That's the one you guys need to be picking up.
I don't know how y'all pick stuff.
What you mean?
How you pick? It's just so many. How do you just pick one? It's like, yeah, that's the one right there.
Well, like, I'm gonna throw shade at the whole community real quick. I'm gonna stand on business real quick. Everybody and their mama who has been talking shit about DC So White, who has been throwing shade at the 1,000 Days campaign, y'all want to keep playing that whataboutism about Absolute Green Lantern in my face. This is the most underrated book at DC Comics right now. This is the most underrated book. Al Ewing constantly goes between DC and Marvel and gives you the most crazy cosmology level ish, and y'all don't appreciate him.
Which is crazy because it's the best series in Absolute right now. Period.
Yes. I don't care what anybody says. Like, yes, I'm not going to take away the awesomeness that Scott Snyder has been doing with Absolute Batman. I'm not going to take away what Dennis Camp and Kelly Thompson have been doing with Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman. I'll kind of hit Jason Aaron a little bit. Jason Aaron's not doing too hot with Superman. I'm gonna keep it real. But like Absolute Green Lantern has been the best consistent title. And maybe this is me throwing shade at the community. Y'all just don't like big concepts. Y'all don't like big stuff. And the reason why I can say that and stand on business is look what happened with Al Ewing's Ultimates, where this man said, I'm going to turn the Galactus from the World Eater to the Life Bringer. And y'all didn't want to keep that book going. Yeah, we got Blue Marvel, Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, America Chavez, and Black Panther all on one team. And y'all said y'all couldn't rock with that. Y'all couldn't rock with that. Y'all couldn't rock with that. Y'all don't want that. And it makes me so bad that y'all couldn't be down to clown. So that's why I will say I will stay 10 toes down. All these people that want to play in my face be like, what about Absolute Green Lantern? What about Absolute Green Lantern? Y'all ain't even reading the damn book. Come at me then.
Also,
you know what?
That's not main timeline, but
100% got to stand on that one too, because I've been picking that one up since I heard about it, and it has been on fire. And this last issue too, the fact that he does such a big twist with the lantern, it was so good. So good. Right there. I'm not trying to do any spoilers, but that's just what I'm doing. I can't wait for the next issue.
It's so good that even the Comicsgate fuckboys aren't even out here like, oh, it's woke, it's got black women and lesbians in it. They don't. That they're so down to clown that they ain't even mad about it.
That's crazy.
Ain't that crazy? Well, they just don't care because they're not reading it because it's underrated. They're not reading it.
That may also be the case, but they complain about everything, whether they're reading it or not. So they might be good with it.
And it's crazy. So that's definitely and then I will say also like no, but like we will talk about the like when we have been talking about the whole issue with the speculator market. No one read Nectar, despite me telling people Nectar was an amazing book with the writer Jeremy Robinson. So like, and I'm going to tell you this again, y'all. If y'all haven't picked up Nectar or haven't pre-ordered the second print, make sure that you do that. If you are not hip to Jeremy Robinson's other book that he has coming out with Vault, like make sure that you get on that, because that book is going to be insane. When you look at the solicitations for Excommunicated and just look at that cover, like I'm gonna put the cover on screen for y'all, the way y'all can see this cover. This cover looks insane. It's gonna be a Catholic horror story. I'm down.
That is right up my alley. That is right up my alley right there.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be some shit. So make sure that you are down. And the whole pitch is that when a faithful nun and a festering demon are each excommunicated from the church and from hell because of a botched exorcism, they must work together to uncover a sinister plot that endangers their lives and the world. Y'all ain't down with that? So like that's what I keep seeing, is that people like are over here specking on Nectar, but they ain't even reading the damn book. So make sure that you are pre-ordering these books. I've been telling people for years that Vault Comics has been putting out big work. They made a whole book with Post Malone about a angelic semi truck that fights demons, and the book is a banger. So like make sure that you are copying that and supporting Vault, because they've been putting out bangers for years and no one wants to work with them on that. So holla at your boy on that one for sure. From there, what else we got? How do we feel about Marvel cashing in fans' nostalgia and anger by releasing Ultimate Farewell variants? Well, and then also he said, how do you feel about DC possibly spoiling the next few stories throughout the entire publishing line with the Things to Come variants? And I saw Rich Johnson post an article on Bleeding Cool about this, where he was like, DC spoils the entirety of Act 2 of All In. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what you did. You kind of just like, you have people frustrated by your solicitations giving them too much information, so you gave them more information. Like, I don't know what the idea was with that, but that's kind of weird. But also with the Marvel thing, that's just them playing in your face. And if you're giving them money, I don't know what to tell you about that one.
I will admit
mine will be longer. Go ahead.
I will admit the Peach Momoko. There we go. Peach Momoko. There we go. Variant cover that they had there. I might actually end up picking that up. I'm such a huge fan. You know, the DC one, that's normal. That's just DC for you every single time. If they're gonna give you more information than you request, I kind of have to like gauge at how far I want to look into things. But when it comes down to their variant covers, I get why they just were like, here, look at all the cool art we're trying to put out. Get distracted by this and not anything else that's going on, you know? Like, that's kind of how I feel DC's trying to do.
No, I thought about this earlier. I noticed a lot, and it's probably because of the conversation about manga versus comics and anime versus comics a lot over the last like 2 years, is they keep trying to do this pivot where they do what anime and manga has done for a very long time and quite well, where they tend to give you the spoilers, but not the build up. And so you know what's going to happen, but you're like, okay, but what is going to happen? Because that just doesn't seem like that can happen. So now I have to tune in and see what's going to happen. Where over here, we usually get here's the build up. Now you're trying to figure out what's going to happen. So they're trying to switch it around because they feel like manga and anime does better, right? So let's do what they're doing, but they're not doing it right.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, because like I don't think this is gonna work out for them, where they're trying to appeal to that market, and it's very odd in terms of that. Then from there, the next question that we had from the chat was, what's with the indie speculation lately? Thoughts? So I was saving this because I originally had this on the agenda, but then I saw the question come through the listing. So we hinted at this a few weeks ago on the show, but we talked about it briefly. There was the selling out of Dork, which is like a character that's half orc, half dwarf. There was the selling out of White Sky from Image as well. There was a Bad Cave book that I forget the title of it, that sold out. And then we saw Nectar sell out. And then right at the tail end of the Dakota incident coming out, speculators started playing around with that too. We are noticing that lower print run books are getting specced on really hard because because they know similarly to what happened with Some Things Killing the Children during the pandemic, lower print run books are going to be more valuable. But the problem is these publishers are doing lower print runs of books either because they're not getting enough pre-orders before FOC, or historically they have seen not a whole lot of people be super down with the indie books they're pushing out. So they're like, look, we're not going to invest a ton into this, not to mention with Image and Vault and stuff like that. These printings are coming out of the creators' pockets, so they're not going to go above and beyond to do this. So if anything, and like there was even somebody, I think it was Comic Society, put on TikTok. They're like, the solution is we need to print more, and it's like, no, it's not, because the issue is speculators are taking advantage of like financially, like burdened comic creators, because they're having to pay out of pocket for this stuff. And they're not understanding the fact that like speculators are taking advantage of the market. Now, if it's like a Walking Dead or something like that, or in the case of Jeremy Robinson, dude is a multi but like New York Times best-selling author to where he can put out money like that, where he has 5 different books coming out from Vault. He can do that. But with Image, it's coming out of the creator's pockets. Like it was even Blue Jack last week, where he talked about the fact that a while back, no one even wanted the ash can for Dork at a con. So it's a matter of the fact that like the speculators are just taking advantage of the publishers at this point. And like Tashi, I would love your take on this, because you're someone who has funded their own books, so you have a different perspective on this than other people.
It definitely comes straight out of our pockets. I say that for a long time. I reacted to the print more thing, where it's just like, yes, print more with what money exactly? Because again, if you want us to print more, you got to buy them, which is why I am glad they did start selling out, because it's like, now, okay, they'll get that money to print more. But at the end of the day, if you do actually want to see more of those books, you got to buy them. Print more is not an answer if they're not selling.
The hard thing that I have is the way that people react to the speculation markets, because you'll have a lot of people that will, go and collect these comic books because they actually enjoy reading these comics. And then now you're going to have people who are gonna try scalping these comics, is basically the best way I describe it, to where they're gonna go in and try to buy them all up from the one comic book shop that happens to have 2 or 3 more and then sell them off. And it disappoints me in that, because I get some people do that to make their money, but I've always had comic books as like, this is my form of entertainment. This is a way for stories to be spread. This is something to share with your community once you've picked it up and talk about it. Because not everybody's going to pick up the same comic, and that's what makes going to a comic book shop so fun, because I can go in there, hear what somebody's talking about, and being like, oh, if you pick this up, it sounds very familiar to this, and then it starts a dialogue, and then you have a connection, and then you're building community up. Just to go off of speculation only really kills the vibe when it comes to collecting comic books for me. And so like, I get excited, whenever my comic book goes up $30, but it's not like I'm making $30. That's still going in my collection.
Yeah.
I wish there were more people in my comic shop for these conversations. It's so empty in there.
Right. And it definitely is an interesting like dichotomy when you think about it. And like, I even feel bad for it from the perspective of the Dakota incident. We had to fight tooth and nail to get that second print. We don't even know how many books were sold. And it concerns me because of the fact of like, yeah, we sold out, quote unquote, but I would love to know what the unit sales were, because when you really think about it, the pre-order sales weren't that great for the book. We had to step up and shell out for the book itself after the fact, but we were trying to tell people, pre-order this book, pre-order this book. That's the only way the sales work. And I will say this. Comic Concierge put this on Threads in sort of like a response to me kind of like being the little girl from House of M and walking up to the like, everybody and going, hey, this is the truth, remember, like, this is the truth of the whole situation. And his response to it was, well, no, those books on the shelf still matter because you're helping the comic book store make back their money. That way they can stay in business. And there's something to be like said about that to a certain extent, yeah. But like, I look at what the comic store buys as like, obviously Batman's gonna be on that shelf. Batman's gonna be on that shelf. Variants gonna be on that shelf. If I need Batman variants, if I need a DC KO variant or an Ultimate Endgame variant, whatever, those will be what will be on the shelf. Or in the case of those, like what we hear a lot of the times for things like Black Lightning or different marginalized characters when it comes to different comic shops. I've heard the guys from the Comic Conspiracy who own a shop in Sunnyvale, California, they've said before, oh, we buy a few for our subscribers and then we buy 2 or 3 for the shelf or 1 for the shelf. It's like, that shelf copy is going to be for Mr. and Mrs. Casual who walks in and buys that off the street. And those are the people that were going into comic book shops and saying, oh, we were told that the Dakota incident sold out, guys. No, it's not that it was sold out. It's someone came and bought that like 2 copies off the shelf, and that's what they mean by sold out. So that's what the issue is.
Because let's be real, if it wasn't for us, our LCS wouldn't have had any copies of the Dakota incident. Our copy was the only one they had, and given where it is, that's not very surprising. But yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that we're always in there, and we're I think 2 of 4 Black people that go in there, there wouldn't have been any in there, and I'm surprised nobody else ordered any. But maybe we just got there too late.
And like Showmonger even put in chat that like it was estimated to be 44th top grossing book of the month. The unit sales weren't even in the 50K. So it's like, yeah, we hit the sold out button to where we get a second print, but that 100K challenge didn't actually get to be 100K challenge, and that sucks. So it's like, that's the issue at hand, is that we could have potentially got 100K if people knew how to frick the pre-order system works. And that's what's so frustrating, is that there were so many contrarians and there were so many like asshole individuals on YouTube. And thankfully I had a conversation with one who on the Comic Book Kickback podcast who was willing to hear me out about the issues. But it's like, the issue at hand is still people don't understand how the system works. That's the issue, is that people don't understand how the system works, and the entire deck is stacked against us. They will be so quick to be like, oh, well, you guys didn't buy the book, or you guys didn't go in and buy it. And it's like, your system is flawed. You can't say we didn't go buy it because a lot of people don't understand the system. And then you leave it in the hands of the comic shop to explain it. Why don't you release a yearly pamphlet about how the system works, DC, Marvel, Boom, etc.? Like, why don't you do that? Why don't you explain what FOC is? Why are you leaving it in the hands of the comic shops to figure that out? You know, like, because at that point, you're basically hoping and praying the comic shop figures it out and tells people. So
and that's the hardest thing, is because when there's so many comics coming out for these comic shops, they can't sit there and be up to date and be like, here's your FOC for this week, here's your FOC for this week, here's your FOC for this week. I probably shouldn't do that hand motion, but you know. Please clip that, people. I'm glad you weren't looking at the screen there, but like,
I was
there's
the next question. That's funny.
I know, right? There's so much that's going on for these comic book shops that they can't keep up with every single release that's happening, you know? And let alone I go in there and I can talk to the few people that come in and let them know what's going on and stuff like that. But then the next guy who comes in, he's more knowledgeable on Magic cards than I am. So then the next person who may be asking questions doesn't get it. DC needs to be able to bounce this stuff out. Marvel needs to be able to bounce this stuff out, because not everybody knows about Comics Geek Online either, to where it gives you the FOC right there. And then some people don't even know about the FOC on there because it's so small on it.
Tasha, you were in the live when I was telling Kira from Blurs about the freaking League of Comic Geeks. She didn't know about League of Comic Geeks. There's some people who are Wednesday warriors that didn't know how the pre-order system works. So it's a flaw in the system.
A lot of people just they've been reading comic books their whole lives, and their thing is, I go to the comic book shop and I pick up comic books. That's it. The rest of that stuff is, do you have my comic book or not? Most of us,
Yeah.
a lot of us grew up not knowing how all the rest of that stuff was. I don't think I knew until I started publishing.
I'm gonna make a meme out of that. I'm gonna make a meme of me being the little white girl from House of M waking motherfuckers up. I'm gonna do it, damn it. I'm gonna do it. Like,
Do
that's
it.
how I feel about
Do
this
it.
shit. It's so frustrating where it's like I feel like I'm constantly having to wake motherfuckers up. I'm about to say, I'll set in the chat. The indie creatives have to combine forces and establish their own DTC system using economics, data center workers, bankers. That'd be interesting.
That's a whole other conversation for a whole episode.
Yeah, honestly. And like honestly, we're even going to be like having conversations soon. I'm going to be trying to get a hold of Adrian Weissel, who's the editor in chief over at Vault. Like their press team is working with me to get a hold of him because we're going to have talks about this where it's like we need to have faith in these indie publishers. Like you say you're burnt out by Cape shit, but then you don't want to go read stuff that isn't Cape shit. What is it? What do you want? I feel like Ryan Gosling going, what do you want? Because y'all motherfuckers don't know what the hell you want. So yeah, Layla Miller, that's her name.
There are multiple genres.
Yeah. I'm about to make that a damn meme. I'm looking to make a Layla Miller meme and me walking in the room going, hey, wake up. Hey, wake up, this is the truth.
This horror genre has been kicking the past 5 years too. Like everything has just been banger after banger that I've been reading. Like everybody who complains about Cape stuff, go read Crownsville. Just so simple. It's just that easy.
Out there anyway.
Amen on that. It gets the heart pumping. It gets the adrenaline going. It gets you ready for the day.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So it was also said in the questions. Catfish said, "Do you want to see a DC counterpart to Marvel Rivals? If so, who you want to in the opening roster?" I don't, and here's why I say that. I want DC. I would rather see DC in the next 5 years give me DC Ultimate Alliance before I get DC Rivals, because I would rather see DC finally get their shit together and give me a good action RPGs or like a good ARPG like Ultimate Alliance was, where we can just play as unknown heroes. Because we were even having to talk about this on Threads the other day, where it's like some of your favorite characters that you didn't know were a thing back in the day, you learned about through the original Ultimate Alliance. I learned about Luke Cage through Ultimate Alliance. Like I got lucky. My dad had told me about Blade back like from Wesley, but like I know people who learned about Blade from Ultimate Alliance, or some people learned about Deadpool from Ultimate Alliance. So it's like it's that kind of situation where you need an ARPG or just an RPG in general that can teach people about your universe, like an X-Men Legends, like an Ultimate Alliance, where you give them just plot lines from your universe. And granted, DC Universe Online kind of does that to an extent, but like you don't need a whole MMO. That MMO is doing way too damn much. Put that shit on some guardrails and let people just play within the sandbox. Don't put them in a whole universe where they can pick their own damn character. Is what I'm saying.
See, now I'm gonna be the contrarian here, because I was gonna say DC Universe Online, they need to pick that up and actually like update that right there, because there's so much stuff that they could leave on the table for you to just kind of like delve into the world a little bit, and then it could get them into the comic book shop. But that's where I had my issue, to where it's like, you know, you're leaving so much money on the table with one industry right there, because I'm thinking of the Static stuff, to where like I immediately made a Static character in there, and then I'm excited to try to play with Static and all that other stuff, and you don't see him. You know, like there's so much stuff that they could have laid down in that DC universe to get people so hyped for things, but that's just how I am when it comes to the like MMO games. I'm all down for throw me into the universe and let me play in my sandbox.
Right.
You know, I'm conflicted. I like Marvel Rivals, so I wouldn't mind seeing a DC version in there. I feel like the lineup would be exactly who you would expect. You'd have the Trinity plus a few of the other, you know, well-known Flash, Green Lantern, Justice League that everybody likes. But the Ultimate Alliance, and I do like DCU Online, but the Ultimate Alliance was my childhood.
Yes.
That was most of. Am I aging myself? Most of high school, I played it with my brother. I went off to college, and every time I came home, we would play Ultimate Alliance until we finally beat the game.
I
Twice.
feel like that it's that was the last time I saw White Nick Fury that I can think of besides like
That was the first time I saw White Nick Fury.
I have a vague remembrance of like the secret event where he fused with Uatu, but like other than that, I can't think of the last time I've given a shit about White Nick Fury, because now that we have or like racially ambiguous Nick Fury, like it doesn't matter, because like they were like, oh, he's conveniently biracial, but he looks like Samuel L. Jackson. I'm like,
that's
even
great.
my mixed ass is like, that's a little much, like. Like that's a little much, but go off, pimp. Like
I do love how you brought up. It's like Ultimate Alliance did introduce us to a lot of characters that we didn't know. Like that's how I found out about Spider-Woman. That's how I found out about Nick Fury. That's how I found out about Ghost Rider.
I still say Johnny Cassier Deadpool from that game is better than Nolan North, but no one will listen to me. Like Johnny Cassier just walked, because like people forget Johnny Cassier is that crazy white dude from the Amanda Show. He just randomly did Deadpool for X-Men Legends and for Ultimate Alliance, and he just does so good. So when you hear Nolan North, you're like, that's not Deadpool. And it was so like jarring for me as a kid, where it was like, you're not my Deadpool. I don't like you. Go away. Like
the same person, isn't it?
Exactly. Let me see here. Has the political nature of comics moved to enforce the status quo or moved right in the big two as a whole? Tom King, the importance of blood family and the whitewashing of characters, etc. Ooh, this is a great topic. This
feels like a podcast episode.
This might actually have to be a podcast episode at some point where we actually dive into this a little deeper. I will give my initial thoughts real quick. Yes, where it's like we have historically moved very right. We have moved very right to be concerned about the outer rim of society. We have been like, and we're going on 10 years now of we're going on 10 years now of Comicsgate being a thing this fall, where because Riri Williams' first press release was around like June or July, if I recall. I remember getting it in my email. And around that time, that was when we saw like diversity in comics and like all that going on and the rise of that nonsense. And ever since then, at first, Marvel and DC were really down to clown and put up a fight to stop like the nonsense. They stood behind the girls with the milkshake incident and stuff like that. But then it was a quiet dismissal. It was a quiet return to form, as it were. But it wasn't all DC and Marvel's fault. You had, or like technically, like you had some things that just didn't work out. Like, let's make Captain America a Nazi, and it just like something like that where it kind of torpedoed their plans. And you had to have Mark Waid.
That cap just disappeared.
Yeah.
the cap we have isn't the same cap. He just kind of vanished.
Yeah. They kind of retconned that and pushed him out the door, and like Mark Waid had to go on an apology tour to fix all that. And it's just like, I definitely understand people's frustration with it, because it does feel as if we've moved backwards from a lot of the progression that we had with like DC Rebirth and Marvel Legacy and Marvel Now. Like, we saw the universe getting better and promoting better stories. And not to say that the stories that we have now are bad, but it's just like, there's only so many times where you can eat the same McChicken where that mayonnaise just feels blander and blander, and it just don't hit the same. That's the best way I can put it. What are y'all's thoughts?
When you said return to form, I was like, I don't know if that's even what I would use, because once upon a time, comic books were used to send a message, to fight for things that they were supposed to stand for. Before Cap was a Nazi, he was punching Nazis. Comics talked about the war on drugs. Comics talked about racism and diversity and all these kinds of things for so long. And so that's why I was like, I don't know if I would even call it return to form. It's just like they said, all right, we don't care anymore about all that stuff. And I could even let that go if it was like, we don't care about all that stuff. We just care about telling good stories
Ooh.
from any perspective with just a bunch of different characters that we have. Let's put it out there. But it's like, let's be careful what we talk about and tell some stories where we make sure that we don't step on too many toes of this specific group because we care more about what they think, especially as long as the other group keeps giving us their money because we're
Mm.
still going to make money.
Yeah, that's a great way to put that. B, what are your thoughts?
It feels like it's a step forward and then a leap back is the best way that I can describe it. Cause you see I would see a lot of forward momentum push when it comes down to representation, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really nice. I love to see it bloom and all of that stuff. But then it felt like it was maybe 3-ish years ago, especially when it was like Marvel stuff, to where it was, or like Marvel TV show stuff is what I should say, is to where it was very much of like, we're going to push this stuff out. We're going to have this like resemblance of diversity, but we're not really going to push it, you know? And it felt like you said they dropped it. It was very much of just, we're leaving it here. We're going to take a leap back and we need to see how you guys are going to react to this before we overall try to like make a move. And now that they've made their move, I feel like they're now realizing they might regret it a little bit because as we can see, like at least for DC sales, Tom King's Wonder Woman doesn't sell. And that's kind of one of the things that they've been able to prove that like Batman and the absolute Wonder Woman sells and stuff like that. And so I have a feeling that they're going to do the exact same thing again and just stop and then be like, all right, let's see what we're going to do again. And then it's just going to be a re-repeat of everything again. That's kind of where I'm like, I see where it leans right because that's how our culture goes. That's how our culture kind of just went with the past bit of everything. So it feels more of like this is just the repercussions of things that have happened. We are going to see that reflected within our art and within things that are happening within culture. In the meantime, for that though, that's why you jump onto the indie because all of that is where you're seeing your forward facing movement stuff. That's where you're finding these really good stories. And so that's just kind of the basis I can leave that on.
And you won't
Okay.
hear any argument with me. I have
Yeah.
something to add, but I feel like we should just have an entire episode.
We'll have a whole episode. Yeah, I like that. We might do that next week. Like, cause that might be a great way to do that. Cause like I know that I'm gonna be going to Corpse Tour. Like I'll be getting late back that Sunday. So unless we get some crazy ass news, man, like cause I'm literally gonna be walking in the door and then hopping on the computer for the show. So like unless we get some crazy ass news that drops, that might just be a great way to do that. So we might just do it that way. And then what new things, if any, do you expect to see now that we have Comics the magazine? So, if y'all didn't see yet, your local comic book shop this past week, there was this awesome thing that drops from the folks over at Prada called Comics the magazine. Do I have mine? It's buried over the corner. I like it's this great magazine that just dropped. If you remember things like Wizard from a few years ago, or way back in the day, or if you remember, Chip Zdarsky had his own comics magazine before last year. It was this great tool that people used to like have exclusive interviews with different writers and artists, or to like have top 10 lists. It was basically like comicsbeat.com or like nerdinitiative.com, the magazine in a lot of ways, where it was just trying to be comic book news and comic book related material in print form at your local comic book shop for casual fans. And it was a great resource because it was some of like the early things back when Wizard was a thing where you would see like early casting announcements for different movies and whatnot, or like even fan casts and stuff like that. Like I remember they had fan casted RDJ months before he was announced to be Iron Man. So it's like Wizard used to be the greatest thing that was great for comic book fans back in the day. And now that we have Comics the magazine that dropped, I here's the one thing that I really want to talk to them about. I'm currently I just got a DM from them on Thursday that I'm going to be trying to get them on the show to talk about this. One big criticism from a lot of people from Wizard back in the day was a lack of caring about Black stories. And a big example of that is they gave like a really unknown image character a whole splash page cover, but they never covered anything from Milestone. They never gave Milestone a cover. They never really cared. They gave, there was like one Wizard book, like one Wizard issue that like had Milestone as a story in it, but other than that, they never really gave Milestone the same like respect or credence as the rest of the market. And if Comics the Magazine is going to continue, there needs to be fair treatment for all marginalized characters and marginalized creators, the same as the white creators and whatnot, because we don't need another Wizard. We need a better version of Wizard. We need a
Mhm.
magazine that represents all of comics, not just a subsection of comics. And that's the best way I'm gonna put that. Like I loved seeing Scott Snyder and Nick Dragana get like an interview for the first issue, but like let's sit down with Stephanie Williams and Joseph Miller to talk about how the Dakota incident sold out. Let's talk about like the fact that we have Stephanie Phillips writing Daredevil right now, and that's getting big sales and whatnot. Like, talk about things that are happening in the industry that are important right now. Don't just do cookie cutter press release website number 50. Give us innovation. Give us like brand new things that people care about. If you're gonna be the casual comic fan's approach to comic book information, if that makes sense. Y'all got any hopes or thoughts in regards to Comics the Magazine? Were you able to pick it up? What are your thoughts?
I wasn't able to pick it up, but I do plan on it. The one big thing that I have is that if they're going to keep interviews in this magazine, I don't want them to have kind of a platform online to where they're also posting these interviews if like it's not up behind a pay subscription kind of thing. Because I want these interviews to actually mean something to these people, because that was one of the great things that I loved about picking up comics and finding old Milestone comics, is being able to see these letter to the editors and ways these people are relaying a message to everybody. And I feel like it's important to make sure that if you're a fan and you're actually going out and you're reading this stuff, that you are the one getting in that message, because I have a feeling a lot of people will take these interviews and then try to run with them to be like clickbaity, or this person said this person said that, without actually ingesting what the writer or the like question is supposed to actually be, you know? And like you said, please interview everybody, any person of color. I like, not just black people. We need our Asian representation. We need the Hispanic representation. I want to see that all in this magazine, because that's how I will actually enjoy more of this, and not just be like, oh, it's the one time thing. I now know about the Batman that's coming out again, even though I already knew about Batman. You know, like I need to know deeper character stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely agreed. I told y'all in the chat, in the group chat, I have not gotten to the comic shop this week, unfortunately. But it did kind of excite me. It reminded me of like a Wizard or even like Game Informer back in the day and stuff like that. And I do want to see more diversity, and that also includes on staff. Because in order to get proper representation in the articles done properly, we're going to need some diversity on that staff. I've looked at the website. I've looked at the staff. Currently, I'm not seeing it. That doesn't mean it's for lack of trying. That doesn't mean it's because they don't want it.
We're in the infancy. Things could change.
Right. So I'm just saying, as for a note for in the future, please diversify your staff as soon as.
And that's something I will even piggyback off that and say that doesn't mean like, hey, yo, go find a black person, go find an Asian person. It means have colorblind hiring, have the ability for people to come in and introduce ideas. Like, get some women in there, give more women in there.
I will say we do have a woman.
Yeah, we have Megan. Megan is amazing. Right. We appreciate her, but it's like there needs to be more. There needs to be other people that are brought into the conversation, because the gone is the age of the boys club. Gone is the age of the cishet white male boys club. We need to let more people come into the room and contribute to the industry.
Despite what, a lot of them are still trying to do, as some of them are trying to keep it the white man club or the boys club. I made a post the other day about, hey, a lot of misogyny in the comics game. So, I mean,
I like that. All right, and the final question we got is for Donnie Black. He threw this like right in before I closed the listener questions, and also thank you guys. I know we like did listener questions like at noon today. Like we didn't expect like within 6 hours so many folks would drop questions. Thank you guys so much. And if you guys want to make sure that you're dropping a question in the Discord, like we'll be starting doing listener questions each week if we have time. If not, like if those questions will just get piggybacked into the following week. That way they are talked about. But Dottie asked, have they said any news about the Mr. Miracle animated series, or was that a rumor? And if it's real, do you think we'll get Scott Free or Charlotte Norman? We know this is just going to be an adaptation of Tom King's Mr. Miracle. We know for like we've seen the like product page, we've seen like the little teaser they put out. Let me see here. Like they straight up showed Mr. Miracle animated series. Like they straight up showed a picture of Scott and Barda on a beach. So like we know it's gonna be that for those who didn't know that. I'll even put it on screen real quick. Like this was already showed on the DC website when they announced they greenlit it. It was gonna be a DC Studios like redo of that thing. Now, am I excited for that? Not really. Like I'll watch it, but like I can't like I said this on a live stream last week. This book, for all of its well-written stuff in it, the cultural zeitgeist behind it is a big reason why no one looked at the direction of Mr. Miracle Source of Freedom by Brandon Easton. They didn't want to give it a chance because when they read Mr. Miracle, they wanted more Tom King, more Scott Free. They didn't even want to look in Shiloh Norman's direction. Even though Shiloh Norman is a creation by Jack Kirby, they said, nah, we want more of the thing we just had. We want seconds. And I'm like, you don't need seconds. Try something else, damn it. But they didn't want to listen to that. So that's what I'll say in regards to that. But B-Rex, my man, you have the honor. What is your closing statement for episode 36 of the show?
Statement for 36. All right. It has been a long week. It has been a long month. Remember, drink your water, relax, touch some grass, read those comic books, and pick up some indie comic books. You don't have to just pick up the big two. And always remember, you can come back to Comics Unmasked to get your weekly fill-in for comic book news.
All right, Tashi, what do you want to leave these people with for episode 36?
Well, not gonna lie, mine's gonna be close to B-Rex because it's been a rough month for me. So take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, and read some comic books because they really help.
Excellent. Most definitely. For me, I want to say that I am really happy that despite the very rudeness of some individuals in regards to the DC So White movement, I'm going to do something very unconventional. I want to give a major shout out to all the white allies that have been supportive of the DC So White movement. From folks like Cosmic, to like the Dalibor, who actually was the one who was hosting and helped create the DC So White website, to just like Mars, that comic girl, put out a video about Vixen not getting an ongoing yet. All these different individuals that have been helping us boost the movement when it comes to it, and are kind of helping us correct the narrative that Black experiences are only for Black fans, that anybody can enjoy our stories just as well as anyone can enjoy a white story. It means a lot. It's like those really like diehard white ally fans that fuck with sinners. It's like you really appreciate those folks who are down to clown with anything. They're not just hindered by like that one commenter we got on Spotify where they said they couldn't enjoy Wonder Man because it was too much of the Black experience. I have been really appreciative of the fact that people have been so awesome in supporting the movement. I even want to give a special shout out. I'll even put it on screen to the bearded graphic. He went out of his way, like he's the one who made the Comics Unmasked logo that you see like every time you look at the show. But he sent this to me yesterday while I was at the Fan Expo. He created a whole logo for DC So White, and originally the little blue at the top was just black, but I was like, nah, like throw that DC bullet blue in there for me. And he was like, okay, and he threw that on there, and it looks so good. And he straight up said, I just want to be a good white ally and bring awareness to this issue. and he didn't charge for it. He didn't like say nothing for it. If you need somebody to do right by you when it comes to like a graphic or an art project or branding for your business, the Bearded Graphic, I'll have him tag below. Genuinely check him out because he deserves the support for being right by us fans, because we all need to be represented. And my heart breaks. My heart breaks because there were some people on Twitter or even on TikTok who were like, when was the last time a Spanish character got an ongoing? And I sat there, it was like, you make a good point. And like,
when we bring it up when we bring it up.
Exactly. Like, why did it take us making a stank out of this for you to for you to say something? Like, it's giving all lives matter at the wrong time, where you could have been made a movement. Like, you could have sniped DC So White for me before I bought the domain. Like, you could have been started a movement on this if it mattered that much to your heart. But at the same time, you are correct. Other marginalized groups have been done dirty by DC in the past. So I'm not going to say you're not wrong, but at the same time, you're not entirely in the right in your stance, is what I will say on that. But I still want to give a shout out to all the white allies who have been really awesome for us. Y'all have meant a lot to me, and I will be so thankful as we continue these awesome stories, because I'm excited to see, like, I'll even say, Al Ewing, a great white ally who's been writing Absolute Green Lantern. Like, he's the one person out here fighting for us in these streets as a white man, it feels like. While the rest of us are in the trenches, he's up on top level, like, holding it down. So, like, genuinely, I appreciate the folks who are doing right by us when it feels like no one else is. But we will be back next week for episode 37 and 38, because, like I talked about, we will be having a special guest. But we will catch y'all next week for more Comics Unmasked. Peace out.